What is going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today we're going to talk to you about Lucid. I want to go over some expectations for this upcoming week, what might cause some volatility, as well as some potential catalysts and what they would do for the stock price. So I'm going to go over all of that, but first make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So starting off with this upcoming week, there is a hell of a lot of Fed speakers. You do have Powell even on Tuesday, but the dreaded CPI is coming out on Thursday. So no doubtedly that's going to cause a lot of volatility, and then PPI as well on Friday. So like I said, a lot of volatility. Right now though, you do see some optimism in the broader market. Fear and greed index is at 54. So people's appetite for risk is naturally there. And for the most part, a lot of the Fed speakers, CPI and everything coming out this week is going to be directly correlated, or the market's going to directly correlate that to interest rate cuts. And I think the July 31st meeting is kind of out, but September 18th, that's where right now 72% likelihood of a 25 basis point cut. That is going to be the next big catalyst for the broader market. So hopefully this does continue this level of optimism, because I think at this stage in the day, the market does need that. Aside from all of that fun stuff, there hasn't been all that much in news, no SEC filings, nothing like that, but there is two potential things, or I guess maybe three if you want to count one, that is coming out this week that could really help the stock price. One of which is Lucid unveiling their Q2 numbers, production and delivery. And so I've already done a couple of videos all about this, and you can kind of look back here. So in July of 2023, actually I think I passed it. July 2023 or I guess July 12th to be exact. So historically it was going to be the tail end of next week, but over this last couple earnings, they've actually been ahead of schedule. So it is fair to assume that Lucid is going to unveil their Q2 numbers next week, probably around the mid part of the week rather than the tail end. But regardless, I'm fairly optimistic. So my estimates are 2,100 for delivered and then 1,900 produced. And I feel like that's a very conservative benchmark. Anything above that is going to be seen as very, very optimistic. Flip side, somewhat negative for that. But the big catalyst is going to be the gravity, of course. And that is kind of the second thing that is coming out or underway this week, and just more showings of the gravity. So up until the 7th, it is at Houston. Then it's going to be moving to the Legacy West studio, and that's from July the 8th up until July the 21st. So all we need Peter to say for this upcoming earnings is just say it is coming out sooner, or just more clarity. So regardless though, I think that's point number 2. And then the third catalyst that is coming out, oddly enough, they haven't really advertised it all that much. If anything, it was just posted by Sultan on Twitter, and a lot of people didn't really even recognize it, but 𝗖𝗓𝗪. So I'm always been a very big fan of him. I'm sure you guys are aware of that at this stage in the day, but he is doing a presentation. So this right here is day number 1. So that is on the 10th. And so it's only a 15-minute chat, but it says Lucid operations updates and the vision in the kingdom. So I think that's going to be a good thing. 𝗖𝗓𝗪 is a straight arrow, just like me. He says it how it is. So yeah, I'm really excited about this, and I feel like Lucid behind the scenes has really been stepping up their marketing, been doing a lot of these kind of fireside chats, participating in a lot of conferences and whatever. So I think that's generally very good, because if the company was hiding from something or had bad results, well, they wouldn't be doing all this. That's just my own opinion. So that's kind of the 3 big catalysts for this upcoming week. If the data isn't necessarily the best, you are going to see once again shorts really double down. But over this last several trading days, shorts have been somewhat cautious about Lucid, and rightfully so. A lot of the data points are kind of signaling that it is going to kind of break out. And so I'm going to go over that in a second. But as far as options for Friday, 395,000 in calls, 328 in puts. So the dollar value is a little bit low for that in comparison to the norm, but 58% of all the options were bullish and optimistic. Just to give you a quick overview of the open interest. So going into this upcoming week, so expiring July the 12th, you do see 10,000 in open interest at that $3 strike price. Typically, that's where a lot of manipulation does happen, coming from market makers and shorts. So definitely watch for that to be a very strong pivot point. But beside the point, these are some of the transactions that have been occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. So institutions haven't been buying Lucid as much as they once were, but once them unveiling their Q2 numbers, this is where you could see that completely reinvigorated and institutions start to buy into the hype for Lucid. Because over this last little bit, yeah, Lucid's been going up. I think it's just been foreshadowed or kind of behind Tesla for the most part. I don't think anyone's really complaining, but still it'd be nice if Lucid does break away from just the Tesla shadow and starts to go up at a greater rate. So that's just in my own opinion, of course. And with their Q2 numbers coming out potentially this week as well, no doubtably you'd have a lot more analysts paying attention to it and giving some ratings. So last ones were last month, so I think they're kind of overdue right now. So hopefully Lucid has some good results, but again, that should be coming out mid part of the week. And dependent on the ratings, that could also be a separate catalyst, really propelling Lucid higher. And as of right now, this is the Elliott Wave technicals. As I've said in the past, they've been largely negative up until recently. So it does have a pivot point of $2.60. So for as long as Lucid stays above that key pivot point, then it is anticipated to get between that 330 and 350. So with some positive catalysts, then the technicals will kind of move to this range soon, very, very fast, in fact. So yeah, I think Lucid is very somewhat cautiously optimistic right now, or that's why I am on Lucid. Because Lucid, I think just, it's a very sticky stock. A lot of people really do like the product, just things haven't gone right. And so I think right now, just investors expect the worst. But then again, if you kind of think about it, that might be the best time for a squeeze, right? When everyone has low expectations for the stock and they blow people's minds, well, that's when shit hits the fan in a positive way, and pardon my French. But getting right to it, some strong support and resistance points in the short term to kind of take note. So with it at $2.93, it is trading between this R1 and this R2. So 301 is going to be a very strong resistance / target for Lucid. And then $2.89 is going to be that next strong support. When I did my video on Friday, it was trading below that. And I did say that it definitely did need to close above that, and lo and behold, it did have that nice push higher. So yeah, the technicals are looking a-okay, and it's just a matter of time. Shorts haven't really done all that much like squeezing or exiting. They've just been kind of just lingering around, which is very unfortunate. But if Lucid does break above this $3 range, then this is where, once again, the technicals will look very good. And the catalyst coming out this week could definitely help as well. And with this last couple of trading days, it did fight above and got successfully above that 50-day moving average, as well as that 100-day moving average. And so in the past, as I've explained, Lucid and that 50-day moving average haven't always really jived to that well. But when Lucid does and is able to successfully stay above that, it usually results in at least a 20% spike. So that again could be coming down the pipeline. And stochastic, you do see it as very overbought. You also do at the same time see a nice bullish deviation, so white line above the red. But with it considered somewhat overbought, if some of the catalysts that I mentioned don't come to fruition, or let's say their Q2 numbers aren't necessarily the best, this is where you could see a kind of a vicious pullback similar to right here, as what did happen, and even notably right here. So it's just one of those situations. Lucid will continue on the status quo until it doesn't. And even if it does pull back, it is still relatively healthy. That's just resetting the technicals for higher highs to come. So that's just part of the cycle and part of investing. As well, a number of retail investors have been getting in. So in my opinion, given the circumstances, if everything goes right, then I do see it successfully trading within this range, so this R2 and this R3, or if their numbers are very, very good, possibly even above this R3. So let me know your thoughts on Lucid. Give yourself a shout out. Have you been buying? Have you been selling? What have you been doing with Lucid? And one final thing, take advantage of this promo. Simply sign up for a new account, throw $100 at it, and they give you 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. Kick-ass deal, link in the description below, and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.